We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
What is gemophobia?
Gemophobia? Yeah, it's a term that is used to describe a generation which fears marriage
And commitment.
That
so
is.
How does it affect, like,
yeah,
this mostly affects some youths
it's
nowadays. Some youths affect to be committed,
because of the confusion. The youths don't even understand the values of getting into a relationship and even committing to one another. First and foremost, they found their fathers and their mothers very confused. Abiding by this confusion of the current modern world, thinking that this is now the way to go. Now, when the son or the daughter sees the confusion that is existing in the mother's or the father's life, why you really fear? For example, a mother who is raising a daughter alone, she raises the daughter in pain, and she always shares the same pain with the daughter. Most of the women who are raising their children all by themselves are not happy. They are not happy. Even the sons who are being raised by their mothers, they grow up being confused, not knowing, not understanding what are the roles of a man. Should I come at a moment whereby I'm supposed to have a woman in my life? How will I be able to treat her? Because I don't know, I never got to see how a man can be able to treat a woman through the eyes of my father. And that is the reason that such terminologies are coming around. You called it? Gamophobia, right?
Gamophobia.
Yes.
A fear of commitment.
A fear
marriage,
of commitment.
And relationship.
You won't see any sense in that. You never saw it in your father. You never saw it in your mother. Why commit in that? And that is why I always tell people that in a marriage whereby there is always a possibility, almost 80% chances that when a daughter is raised by a single mother, she might end up being single. And for the same reason that we are talking today, because she does not know how to relate to her mother. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. Probably it's not her mother's fault, because probably her mother also was raised by a single mother, right?
Yeah.
So the generation just goes like that, and so on until we get to such a point whereby the young ones don't want to commit anymore. Gamophobia.
Gamophobia. Today, we are diving into a controversial, thought-provoking topic. What will the re-election of Donald Trump mean for Africa as a continent, particularly with the reference of family values and his call to bring back common sense to the family unit? We will explore how this leadership might impact traditional values, social norms, and even the political alliances across African countries. So, grab your seat and join us as we unpack the political consequences, both negative and positive, for Trump's election of African device and evolving family dynamic. Remember, this conversation won't miss. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Let's get started. Mr. Njenga Kenya is here to help us make sense of the whole process. Karibu sana, Mr. Njenga.
Asante sana, Madam Beatrice. Happy to be here again with you on this Jenga Kenya as we build a beautiful country, Kenya.
Yeah.
We got so much to talk about, yeah?
Today we are going to talk about masculinity and family values.
Masculinity and family values, yes. What about it?
Recently, when Donald Trump was talking, he was talking about the like he want to make a sense of the two genders.
Or talking about the bringing back the common sense.
Common sense.
Yeah, to the society.
Yeah.
It really affects us because we are just a mirror of what happens around us. More so because we just like apes. They always call us apes, and yes, we are apes because we love mimicking or imitating what they do or what they tell us to do. Uh, Donald Trump's re-election will be bringing a lot of positive changes, especially in the family, as concerns the family. Donald Trump is coming in a period whereby the family social fabric has really, really, really crashed. In the Western countries, more so in America itself, you will always find that statistics that over 80% of blacks are leading a single life. That is, a household are being led by single family parents. Baba ni mama ni peke yake is taking care of the family. Now, when we talk about the bringing back the common sense, a basis on which Donald Trump has been able to campaign upon and then come back very strongly as the President of the United States of America, it's that somehow the world had lost its common sense. Ungeweza kukimbia mahali popote unakuta saizi they are talking about so many genders. That is before Donald Trump's re-election. They have been talking about so many genders. And they have been so very vocal and so proud of associating themselves with those queer terms such as we are queer, we are lesbians, we are transgenders. You see? Things which never existed before. Imekuja tu juzi, in less than 10 years. That is when all this madness has been able to come up. Mtu tu anaamka asubuhi na anasema kwamba, like myself, I just wake up in the morning and I declare myself a white female lesbian. And then I'm forcing everybody else to accept to my current status as a lesbian, white lesbian. Something that is totally mad when you look at me, right? I'm black. I can't be able to be a white lesbian, right? Now, that is the common sense that Donald Trump wants to bring back to the family. Secondly, the family values, whereby we have that hierarchy, whereby the father, who always has to provide that sense of purpose and responsibility in the family household, has been chased away by the woke. The woke, feminist. Yeah, the feminist society has really taken over the world. As I started off by saying that what happens in America really affects us real time. You remember during Joe Biden's rule, we saw very many, the likes of Kamala Harris traveling to Africa, the wife to the former president of America, Joe Biden, traversing Africa, BBC walking around Africa, trying to sell the agenda of this queer agenda, the lesbianism, the LGBTQ agenda, which has really broken the family fabric of the whole world. Yeah. So bringing back common sense is simply stating the two genders that Donald Trump is standing by, the thing that we have always known since our childhood, until the recent past when this woke leadership took over America, and they decided that they are going to make the whole world woke.
What can you talk about the masculinity not in African but outside Africa?
Now we are on Jenga Kenya TV, and whatever happens, especially in America, reflects in us real time. But we've until recently, during the inauguration, that is when we got to realize that Mr. Trump is fully committed to his own country. As a man, he stood his ground as a man, and he wants to lead his country as a man, doing away with the feminism and all the queer teachings that the Biden administration has been teaching out there and forcing on people. So Trump himself is a family man, and I've been watching closely how he has been taking care of his family, standing up as that role model in the society in terms of provision, prophecy, protection of the family, not only of his family, but America at large. So Trump is that emblem of masculinity in a way, because he has always shown his masculinity part of him, something that the Biden administration was really crushing down to the core by elevating the so-called feminists to be able to take over the leadership of the world, which has really crushed the society. So when we talk about masculinity, we are simply talking about the muscle. Masculinity is a term which comes from the muscle, and the muscle of a man more so. Yeah. So when we talk about Trump's coming into power and how it impacts masculinity, something that we have been championing for here on Jenga Kenya TV, because when muscle is utilized well, as it has been always utilized from the ancient times, yeah, especially in African society, the community stands. Women are protected. There's no war between women and men, because everybody has his own part to play, or he has her own part to play, considering the weight of the muscle. Now, the weight of a muscle, as pertains masculinity, is to protect, to provide for the family, to prophesy for the family, to be that head. Something that I repeat that the Biden administration and the Kamala Harris administration had really destroying the family fabric, because when we lose that masculinity in the family, then the family loses the focus that it's supposed to have. Now, when we talk about masculinity, mostly we are referring to the boy child and the father figure in the family. I started off by saying that the statistics shows that 70% of the household in the US, especially from the black household, are being led by women. And we all know what goes on whenever a woman stands up to take care of the family. There's always a lot of things which go wrong. Yeah, a lot of things go wrong. So by Trump elevating masculinity back to its place, I tend to imagine that family values will be upheld. Fathers will go back to their homes without fear, because we have been fearing women so much, because the governments have been in support of women, elevating them, and not for the good of the family. The purpose by which the government have been elevating women has always been so as to push away this logic of being who is a man, the male figure, the masculine, the dominant figure in the family, the protector of the family.
But most of the time you like talking about men.
Yes.
Men of nowadays, men of...
Yes.
But in this sense, we're talking about both the female gender and the male gender. Let's leave alone that. I was just saying, like, most of the time you like talking about the men.
I love talking about the men, and passionately I need to do that. I just want to ask you a question. You have your father, right?
Yeah.
If today you'll find your mother harassing your dad, and your dad just sitting there like this, what will come into your mind?
Why my dad, like...
Yes.
I'll ask a question. Why, Dad, are you so, like, how can mom just provoke you, like, and you're just seated there? Like...
So what do you expect out of your father whenever you see it's like your mother dominating the household responsibilities, like being the dictator, dictating everything that has to happen in the house. How will you be able to rate your father? That's the question.
He's not man enough. Why can he just stood up and then be man enough to talk about those issues? Why my mom? Why not the dad?
Why is it the mother who is standing up for the family and not the father, right? That is the reason as to why I love passionately talking about the boy child and the man, because subconsciously the society needs man always to stand up and provide these 3 P's that we are always advocating for. So whenever I talk about men, I know that man is the person, is that foundation, the pillar on which the household has to be laid upon. So when the pillar is weak, when the man is weak, the house is destroyed.
What about in a situation where like the man is not there? It's only the woman who stand for the family there. What can you say?
Yeah, there are special occasions. This is common in modern days, but it used to be, and this is one of the reasons as to why Donald Trump is coming out as being that emblem of masculinity, encouraging other men to stand up and take up those traditional roles. Because in the ancient times, men naturally led the families until the feminists rose up and demanded for equal share as pertains family matters. Now, when we have, let's just use an example of the presidency here in Kenya. Let us just for a queer reason use the deputy as the assistant, right? The assistant in this analogy being the mother in the house and the father. Now, when the assistant stands up and purposes to have equal powers with the president, what happens to the nation?
The nation will fight.
What happened to us? Kenya being an example. What happens to Gachagua? He was hoisted, right?
Yeah.
It's because there's always that fight in the family for equal opportunities. So when there's squabbles of equal opportunities, there is no hierarchy and there is no order. The same way by which now the feminists rose up and demanded for equal 50-50 responsibilities in the house. Whenever that comes around, you realize that the man will have to pull himself out. And that is the reason now you are asking the question, what about the woman who is all by herself taking care of the family? It wasn't a norm. It wasn't common in the past. It was the duty of the society to protect the women and the children, and for a reason, until they themselves stood up. A woman can never replace a man. A wife can never replace a husband in the home. She can only do as much as a mother is supposed to do. And when she starts doing that which the man is supposed to do, then she loses that tenderness and the love that comes with a mother's provision and nurturing, right? And makes him so masculine, so that that tenderness in the family even loses balance. The same way, the children will never get to take her serious, because every young child subconsciously understands that women are weak, whether you love it or not. It's written in the books that women are weak elements, right?
Strong.
Weakness is not all about masculinity. Weakness it comes in the judgment, in the issues of judgment and making family decisions. So subconsciously, even your own son at 7 years will always want to protect you, knowing that my mother is vulnerable and she needs protection. So talking about single mothers probably is nothing to celebrate about. Some cases just happen whereby now a man in the family dies and she's forced to become the sole breadwinner. But being the breadwinner in the house, you always still need a father figure to be able to balance the family well. Father figures are there. We have uncles, we have grandfathers, we have church religious leaders who can be able to help in such situations.
What about I was talking about the national documents that the president of United States was talking about.
Yeah, president has he made a decree, and he is a king. He made a decree that we are only going to have two genders, that is male and female, because the woke generation had brought about a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion in a way that now the national document were reading transgenders. After a few while, she wants to be recognized as a male. After a short while, she wants to be recognized as queer. So it brings a lot of confusion and illogical, irrational in the system. So to simplify issues, I always say that God wanted us, created everything simple and easy until man came and complicated everything. So Trump wants to simplify issues as it used to be by simply making it male and female, so that in all the documents read, you are either man or a woman. That's the thing we have always known since memorial. Yes.
How does this thing has affected our country, Kenya?
It affects our country, Kenya, in a big way and in a very positive way, because so far we have lost a generation. We were so much afraid that we have already lost a generation, in the sense that when this woke leadership, American leadership, came around, being led by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it really changed the face of Africa, whereby they were resonating so much with these confused young ones, where whenever they came and told us that anybody who wants to identify the way you wish to, you are just allowed to. So you can attest to, you can conquer with me that since the inception of the Kamala Harris and the Joe Biden administration, we had so many lesbians in Kenya. We had so many homosexuals in Kenya. We had so many queer in Kenya just coming out in public and purporting and bragging before people that they are queer. In the US, you will see them holding some parades on the streets, saying that we are coming for your daughters and sons. Be warned, we are just coming to destroy your daughters and sons. So somehow Trump's administration is coming to bring about order by bringing back the family values, back to the families probably. And so it will have to affect us in a positive way, encouraging my dear men, fellow men, to go back home and take care of the family now that the confusion is no more.
Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, we wish to go to say a lot and a lot and a lot, but I just wish to say thank you so much for this opportunity. And also to our dear viewers. I know some of you might be touched in a different way, but let's come and let's reason together. So says the Lord, right?
Yeah, so saying the word of God.
The word of God, yeah? Come and let's reason together, because it's affecting all of us. Let men be men, let women be women. Let men have their positions in their homes and take care of their families. And let women be there also to support their women, so that we continue building a beautiful country, Kenya, whereby we coexist in love, peace, and harmony. Yes.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. I was your host, Beatrice.
Host, Beatrice, and I'm your guest, the guest, Jenga Kenya himself. Let's keep talking.